Oh boy, I've been looking forward to this video. So, you know what I'm saying? The time has come to talk about 6v6. So originally I was gonna drop this video after 6v6 was over, so we can kind of talk about like post mortem on 6v6. But they extended it, so it is. I don't feel like delaying this video anymore, so I'm just gonna pull the trigger on it right now. Unless it's gonna be fine, unless some major, balance development happens, it's gonna be fine. But I think 6v6 is actually really fun. All right, and a lot of the things I said in my previous 6v6 versus 5v5 video still stand. All right, and they've been confirmed through the gameplay. But you know what I'm saying, a lot of that stuff still stands, but it is very fun though. Now, is it better than 5v5?
No.
What is up, YouTube? My name is Mario, aka the Loot Box Hero. Check out the second channel. Go to the second channel is popping, aka the real Super Mario, aka YouTube's greatest fat man here, bringing you another video. Alright, so I was going to do a video on 6v6 this weekend anyway, but after the announcements from Friday, we definitely have to talk about 6v6 now, because 6v6 is officially here to stay in some capacity, So, of course, if you want to continue getting videos like this from me, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell button, all that good stuff that YouTube requires you to do. Continue getting videos from me. Follow me on twitter.com/RSMario128. Like my video tweet, share my video tweet, and I'll shout you out at this portion of the video. Alright, so, I'm going to go into, I played all the 6v6 tests. I've played enough to where I feel like I can tell you how I feel about it, the good, the bad, and how we can make this work in the future, since this is going to be a thing now, So I'm going to start off with the 6v6 -1 test, or the minimum 1 test. So,
yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not going to lie.
There was none.
You blew it.
Well, the bad was the fact that basically there's too much DPS in the game for this to really work, right? Because most of the comps that you see when you play this are like 1-2-3 comps, or they're like 2-3-1 comps. One of those two. Either it's like 2 tanks, 3 DPS, and 1 support, like a Moira or something, or Lucio, or it's 1 tank, 3 DPS, and 2 supports. Which, I mean, if the game was balanced a little bit differently, the 6v6 version, things would be a little bit different, alright? Because there's so much damage in the game, from not just the DPS, but the supports. It's just, the damage is just too much. Like, the tanks just don't feel good in that mode, okay?
What, are you retarded?
Is there a future for that mode? Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Maybe if they do some balance changes, but I'm going to talk about that a little bit later in the video.
Amazing, astounding, marvelous, astonishing, phenomenal.
So, we get on to regular 6v6. So, just 2-2-2. Alright, and I have to say, it was kind of fun.
What?
The tank synergies are really good. Like, specifically 2 tanks in general. Sigma and Zarya. Sigma and Zarya are so fun in 6v6 because they are kind of like people would call them off tanks, but they're kind of like enablers, right? They enable other tanks to be able to do the things that they need to do. For example, Zarya, right? Zarya actually enables a whole lot of tanks, especially with these new DPS heavy tanks now. With a Zarya bubble, it allows them to be able to do all kinds of stuff that they couldn't really do in 5v5 because they didn't have any help like that. You know what I'm saying? She enables them. Like, again, one comp that was really good was Zarya Queen. Zarya Junker Queen was a really good comp. You wouldn't think you wouldn't think it was that good, because Queen is good sometimes and Zarya is good sometimes, but the way you play Queen is you run in and you have a target in your mind that you want to kill, and you kill that thing. Alright, you run at it full speed, you yell, knife, axe, blah, you just kill them. Guess how you can do that? Zarya bubble. All right, you going in before you get hit with 35 CCs. Zarya bubble comes up. Boom. All the CCs, all the damage gets absorbed. You get to kill that thing. You get back out. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? If Zarya had her old bubbles from 5v5, guess what? You would be able to get a bubble going in and a bubble going out. But you know, I mean, we can't have nice things in 2025. But you know what I'm saying? Awesome. You know, and then of course you can play your old school stuff like Double Bubble, you know, Ryan Zarya, you know what I'm saying? But you can also play other stuff like Zarya Ramatra. Zarya Ram is pretty good. Alright, because again, if you give him bubbles to play around his abilities, bro, Ramatra becomes a much better tank than he was at first. Alright. I'm just saying, same thing goes for Malga. Alright, how do you counter a Malga? You nade him, right? You anti him so he can't get his heals, right? He can't get his heals. He can't do his self-heal. Guess what? Bubble. Bubble gets rid of that. Don't have to worry about it. You only need a Kiriko, bro. Just hit that man with a bubble. Oh, look. He's been cleansed. Now he can go Super Saiyan and kill you all. You know, another good one is, of course, Sigma. Sigma was really good in 6v6. Alright, because again, like Zarya, he kind of enables, but he enables them in a different way. Alright, specifically, this one comp that everybody said was going to be trash, you know, Sigma Orisa, yeah, it was good, okay? It's not the same as Sigma Orisa from like the Shield, double Shield days, but it's still a pretty good comp, mainly because both Orisa and Sigma are so good at sustain by just, you know, circulating their abilities. If you circulate your abilities together, oh my gosh, you are a dynamic duo of immortality. You can't die. You know what I'm saying? If you work together, y'all stay together, y'all are not gonna die. Y'all gonna hold, unless something catastrophic happens, or just everybody else on the team is trash. Y'all not gonna die. Y'all are gonna die.
Drop the ball again.
As far as the bad stuff goes, it's basically the balance. The balance is the one thing that kind of screwed this up, because the one thing I was looking forward to playing the most in 6v6 was Ryan Zarya. Alright, I had queued up in my brain to play some Ryan Zarya. And do you know the characters that got hit the most with the Nerf stick? No, I'm sorry, not hit the most. They got Rodney King'd with the Nerf stick. Ryan Zarya. Alright, like I went to throw a fire strike and I had an 8-second cooldown. I was like, what is this? Bro, why? Am I playing Overwatch Classic? I didn't queue up for this. And I'm like, hey, I don't like it. I'm gonna be honest with you. Alright, this is editor me here. I just wanted to say, in hindsight, I feel like they probably nerfed Ryan Zarya in order to get people to play other comps, so that it's not just everybody playing the Ryan Zarya. That's a possibility, but still, it still felt like booty cheeks. Alright, it felt terrible. Okay. And the other thing is, they also nerfed his turn radius on the charge. What does the turn radius have to do with there being another tank on the field? Like, why? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, maybe they want to differentiate 6v6 Ryan from 5v5 Ryan, but all you have to do is give us 5v5 Ryan, just nerf his, like, damage output and stuff like that a little bit. You know, if you want to nerf the damage on the fire strikes, and maybe the damage on the charge or something, maybe you could do that. But other than that, you didn't really need to do any of this other stuff. The same thing with Zarya's bubbles. Zarya's bubbles are perfect. They're versatile. Alright, so you can do what you want with them. If you want to be selfish with the bubbles because your team is garbage, do that. If you want to be charitable and just give everybody bubbles, like say, you know, you're running a dive comp, right? You know what I'm saying? Like maybe you got a Winston and a Tracer, or a Winston and a Sombra or something on your team. Okay, give them the bubbles. Let them go in and do their thing. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can kind of like do a lot with that, but you can't because they screwed up the bubbles. Like, the balance is probably one of the worst parts of 6v6. The performance is also a thing too. Luckily, Overwatch has been like optimized. You know what I'm saying? So it actually still works, especially once ultimates start popping off, like big team fights. You can kind of feel it, but it's not as bad because Overwatch's optimization is so much better than, say, the other 6v6 game.
Don't mind me.
You know what I'm saying? But there was some issues with the performance of the game. But other than that, I think 6v6 was actually pretty good. All right, tank synergy is going to be, the tanks are more important than they've ever been. Okay, all right, like you thought the kaiju tanks was important? Nah, dog. The tank line is now way more important than it was at first, because now if you had a bad tank but you had good DPS, you can still get by in 5v5. Okay, all right, because y'all just kill the enemy tank and then your DPS just take over from there. You know, that's not gonna happen in 6v6. Okay, if your tank line is trash, y'all are not going anywhere. Y'all are stuck. All right, that payload, the push bot, none of that is moving for y'all. If your tank line is bad, you will lose. Okay, GG's. All right. If your tank line has bad synergies, you will lose. All right. If you're playing like some kind of weird comp, you're playing like, I don't know, like Hog Malga or something weird like that, you're probably going to lose. You know what I'm saying? Or if you're playing like, you know, or if your tanks have bad interactions with the enemy tanks, like you just get hard countered by the enemy tanks, you're probably gonna lose. All right, and there's not a lot you can really do because there's more tanks on the field now. You know what I'm saying? The other thing is, if you're playing DPS, I remember back when everybody was like, "Oh, we had more freedom when we were playing 6v6 DPS." You know what I'm saying? That's not true. All right, somebody was lying to y'all, because it's not like that. In 6v6, the DPS has a lot less freedom to do what they want to do because, again, there's two tanks. So you remember that how everybody was screaming and hollering about Widowmaker? Guess what? Widowmaker's not that much of an issue now because there's two tanks on the field. All right, you don't have to think as a tank, oh, well, do I switch to Diva to go and get the Widow because nobody else can kill her? Or do I switch to Sigma so I can shield her off and try to do something else? You don't have to think like that because guess what? The other tank can do it. All right, not to mention 70% of the games I play had a Diva in it anyway. So with that being said, that's not even that big of an issue. If there's a DPS spamming or giving you a problem, one of the tanks can just go deal with it. You don't have to hope that somebody can play Genji to go and get the Widowmaker. Nope, one of the tanks got it. Oh yeah, there's a Pharah that's raining down fiery doom upon your team. Oh, guess what? One of the tanks got it. You know, playing Diva again, going to get the Pharah. Guess what? Team's just moving on. The DPS have a lot less freedom now than they did before. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, though.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer.
So the future of 6v6. So, of course, we know that 6v6 is here to stay. 6v6 is going to be getting a competitive mode. You know what I'm saying? Like a mini competitive season. So, basically, the second half of Season 15 is going to be a 6v6 season. Now, I don't know if that means they're going to get rid of the 5v5 competitive season. And so, we'll have like 2 mini seasons in one season, which that sounds kind of lame. Or are they just testing to see if they can do a 6v6 season and what they would have to do with that? But the biggest thing they would have to do to ensure the future 6v6 is balance. Balance is hugely important, okay? All right, like I said, just get the 5v5 tanks and then put them in 6v6 under the 6v6 rules. All right, so just nerf them. You know, nerf down their health pools so they don't have the big, you know, Giga Titan tank health pools and stuff. You know, you might want to nerf down the damage of some of their abilities so they're not too oppressive. We don't want everybody to cry because the tanks feel like tanks. But what you need to do is you need to allow them to be able to play like the 5v5 tanks, so you don't have to always think, oh, am I playing 5v5 or I'm playing 6v6? Particularly with characters like Roadhog. Roadhog does not really need the old 6v6 kit. Like, don't get me wrong, it was good having the alt fire, but I would rather have the 5v5 take a breather over that alt fire. I'm just gonna be honest with you. All right, 5v5's take a breather is like the best thing they've ever done to that character. Okay, it just makes him so much more playable. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. Like, you know, I'm not a hog expert, so, you know, if some, you know, 0.5% hog player of the world comes in and tells me, like, well, actually, the alt fire was much better. Okay, congratulations, you're really good. But I play more hog with the new take a breather than I have without the new take a breather. And I've been playing Overwatch for a little while. Okay, all right. I'm just saying, you know, give Hog his take a breather, give Zarya her bubbles, give Reinhardt his double fire strikes, you know, just nerf the damage a little bit. You know what I'm saying? The other thing you have to do, there needs to be a global damage nerf. Okay? Global. Alright? Because, you know, like, there's a lot of damage. Alright? Even though there's 2 tanks, still, it doesn't really feel like you're a tank. You know what I'm saying? Global damage nerf. I don't know how much you want to nerf the damage everywhere, but it needs to happen, okay? The other thing is there needs to be some sort of tank passive. At least just like the CC protection, all right? Because there were some times where I was playing and I was like, bro, I feel like I'm getting jostled, man. I don't know if I'm playing Overwatch or if I'm playing Tekken. I'm getting juggled, bro. Alright, I swear there's a Jin Kazama player in the enemy team because I am getting juggled, okay? Alright, there's somebody playing Eddie Gordo on that team, okay? Alright, and we either need to bring back the CC protection or we need to get rid of some of the boops in the game. The other thing is, I'm not sure what to do with the DPS passive. I think if we get the global damage nerf, I think the DPS passive can stay. If we don't, we might need to think about getting rid of it. All right, I'm just going to be honest with you because the whole point of the DPS passive is, well, the whole point of the DPS passive because the DPS were crying that the tanks were too strong. Now that the tanks have been nerfed because there are 2 of them, we don't really need the DPS passive anymore. You know, just being honest with you. The other thing is the health. That's bro. The health thing was actually pretty good. Like, the health passive, we need to bring that back, all right? That's 7 seconds. That's a long time. Who is going to be out of battle for 7 seconds, okay? All right, that is a cooldown, okay? That is a considerable cooldown, all right? Like, at least make it like 5 or 6 seconds, you know? So that way you can go out and you can get some healing or something. If you can't get healing from your team, you know what I'm saying? Like, 7 seconds is a long time, you know? That's all I can really think of off the top of my head is for things that we need to do to make 6v6 better. Because I do have a how to save Overwatch video coming. Alright, you know, so that's coming up soon. So I don't want to give out all those things just yet. So tell me what you think. I know this video was kind of rambly, but every time I wrote it and recorded, it just didn't feel like I said everything I wanted to say. So I just kind of sat down and said, look, I'm just going to say it, and hopefully it's concise and it works. That's what we're doing. So, tell me what you think in the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, people, keep it real. And enjoy 6v6.